The power of persistence is something we often underestimate in our daily lives. We see it manifest in nature, in history, and in the stories of ordinary people who achieved extraordinary things. Today, I want to share with you a powerful tale about persistence that might change how you view your own challenges. A long time ago, in a vast and ancient forest, there lived a small bird with vibrant feathers and an even more vibrant spirit. One day, while gathering food for her nestlings, she accidentally dropped a single grain into the hollow of a massive oak tree. It was just one grain, but to her and her hungry chicks, it represented survival. Determined to retrieve it, she approached the tree and politely requested, "Great tree, please return my grain. My nestlings are hungry, and I need every morsel I can find." The tree, ancient and imposing, merely rustled its leaves in amusement. "Why should I bother with such a trivial matter? It's just one grain lost among my roots. Find another. The forest is abundant." But the bird wasn't deterred. "That grain is mine," she insisted, "and I won't leave until I get it back." The tree, unimpressed by the tiny creature's determination, simply ignored her. Days passed, and the bird continued to return, pleading and demanding. Her persistence, however, fell on deaf wooden ears. Realizing that direct confrontation wasn't working, the bird decided to seek help. She flew to a nearby village where a carpenter was known for his skill with wood. Landing on his workbench, she chirped loudly to get his attention. "Carpenter, I need your assistance," she explained. "A mighty oak has taken my grain and refuses to return it. Would you cut it down so I can retrieve what's rightfully mine?" The carpenter laughed heartily. "Cut down an entire tree for a single grain? That's absurd. Do you know how much work that would be? Besides, that oak provides shade for travelers and homes for countless creatures. Find another grain, little bird." Disappointed but undeterred, the bird flew away, her mind racing with possibilities. If the carpenter wouldn't help, perhaps someone with more authority would. She set her sights on the king's palace. After a long and exhausting flight, she managed to slip past the guards and find her way to the royal chamber. The king, surprised by the unexpected visitor, listened as she recounted her tale. "Your Majesty," she pleaded, "a great injustice has been done. The oak tree has stolen my grain, and the carpenter refuses to help me retrieve it. As the ruler of these lands, will you command him to cut down the tree?" The king stroked his beard thoughtfully. "Little bird, I admire your courage in coming here, but I cannot order the destruction of a healthy tree for such a minor issue. The oak has stood for centuries and provides value to my kingdom. Surely you can find another grain." Frustrated but still determined, the bird left the palace. 3 attempts, 3 failures. Many would have given up at this point, accepting defeat and moving on. But not our persistent little bird. She began to think more strategically. If direct appeals wouldn't work, perhaps she could create a chain of events that would lead to her desired outcome. With this new approach in mind, she flew to where the royal elephant was kept. The elephant was the king's prized possession, used for ceremonial processions and as a symbol of royal power. The bird approached the elephant handler, a man responsible for the animal's care and training. "Tomorrow," she said to the handler, "when the king rides the elephant for the royal parade, make sure he falls off." The handler was aghast. "Are you mad? That would be treason. I could lose my position or worse, my head." The bird explained her predicament: the tree's stubbornness, the carpenter's refusal, the king's dismissal. "You must help me," she insisted. But the handler, loyal to his king and his duties, firmly refused. "I cannot, and will not endanger the king for your petty grain dispute." Undeterred, the bird flew to a nearby anthill. The ants were busy, as always, carrying food and building their colony. She approached their leader. "I need your help," she said. "Tomorrow, during the royal parade, I want you and your colony to crawl into the elephant's trunk. Your presence will irritate him, causing him to trumpet and thrash about." The ant leader was puzzled. And why would we do something so dangerous? The elephant could crush us with a single step. Once again, the bird recounted her tale of woe: the tree's theft, the carpenter's indifference, the king's dismissal, the handler's refusal. "Please," she begged, "you're my last hope." The ants conferred among themselves but ultimately declined. "We cannot risk our colony for your personal vendetta. Find another way, little bird." At this point, many would have accepted defeat. 4 rejections, 4 dead ends. But our bird had come too far to give up now. She decided on a more direct approach. The next morning, as the royal parade was about to begin, she flew directly to the elephant's ear and whispered, "Great elephant, the tree at the edge of the forest has been speaking ill of you. It claims you're old and weak, no longer fit for royal service. The elephant, known for his pride, was immediately incensed. As soon as the parade began, he trumpeted loudly and veered off course, heading straight for the forest. The handler tried desperately to control him, but the elephant's rage was too great. The king, alarmed by the sudden change in behavior, summoned the carpenter. Follow that elephant and see what's causing this disturbance. The elephant charged through the forest until he reached the oak tree. In his fury, he began to push against it with his massive head. The tree, though ancient and strong, began to creak under the pressure. The carpenter arrived just in time to see the confrontation. Fearing that the elephant might harm himself or cause more damage, he quickly assessed the situation. "Your Majesty," he reported back to the king who had followed, "the elephant seems fixated on this particular tree. It might be best to remove it before any harm comes to your prized animal." The king, concerned for his elephant's well-being, nodded in agreement. "Very well, cut it down." As the carpenter prepared his tools, the tree, sensing its impending doom, suddenly spoke up. "Wait, is this about that grain? Take it and spare me." And so, with a shake of its branches, the tree released the grain that had started this entire chain of events. The bird, who had been watching from a nearby branch, swooped down and reclaimed her prize. The king, the carpenter, the elephant handler, and even the ants watched in amazement as the tiny bird flew away with her single grain, a testament to the power of persistence and strategic thinking. This tale, while simple, carries profound lessons about determination and resourcefulness. The bird faced multiple rejections and obstacles, but instead of giving up, she adapted her approach. She understood that sometimes direct confrontation isn't the most effective strategy. Instead, she created a situation where others would see the value in helping her achieve her goal. In our own lives, we often face challenges that seem insurmountable. We might be told no multiple times, encounter obstacles that seem too big to overcome, or face adversaries that appear too powerful to confront. In such moments, it's easy to lose heart and abandon our pursuits. But the bird's story reminds us that persistence, combined with strategic thinking, can lead to success even in the most challenging circumstances. It's not just about repeatedly doing the same thing and expecting different results. It's about adapting, finding new approaches, and leveraging the resources available to us. Moreover, the story highlights the importance of standing up for what's rightfully ours. The grain might have seemed insignificant to others, but to the bird, it was valuable. She didn't let others' dismissals diminish her resolve. In today's fast-paced world, where instant gratification is often the norm, the virtue of persistence can sometimes be overlooked. We might give up too quickly, move on to the next thing, or settle for less than what we deserve. But true achievement often requires time, effort, and an unwavering commitment to our goals. Think about the great achievements in history, from scientific discoveries to social movements. Many were the result of individuals or groups who refused to give up despite facing numerous setbacks. Thomas Edison famously made thousands of unsuccessful attempts before inventing the light bulb. The civil rights movement in the United States faced decades of opposition before achieving significant legislative victories. In each case, it was persistence that ultimately led to success. On a more personal level, consider the challenges you've overcome in your own life. Perhaps it was mastering a difficult skill, navigating a complex relationship, or overcoming a personal setback. Chances are your success was due, in large part, to your refusal to give up. The grain of persistence teaches us that size doesn't determine strength, and initial failures don't dictate final outcomes. It's our determination, adaptability, and unwavering belief in our cause that ultimately lead to victory. So, the next time you face a challenge that seems too big to overcome, remember the little bird and her grain. Remember that persistence, combined with strategic thinking, can move mountains, or in this case, mighty oak trees. In your journey, you'll encounter trees that won't bend, carpenters who won't help, kings who won't listen, and handlers who won't cooperate. But with persistence and a bit of creativity, you can find a way to achieve your goals. The grain of persistence is within all of us. It's that small, sometimes overlooked quality that, when nurtured, can lead to the most remarkable achievements. It's the voice that says try again when everything else says give up. It's the belief that your efforts, no matter how small they might seem, are worth pursuing. So cultivate your grain of persistence, water it with determination, fertilize it with strategic thinking, and watch as it grows into a mighty force capable of overcoming any obstacle in your path. Remember, it's not the size of the bird in the fight, but the size of the fight in the bird. And with enough persistence, Even the smallest among us can achieve the most extraordinary things. As you go about your day, facing your own challenges and pursuing your own goals, carry the lesson of the persistent bird with you. Let it remind you that with enough determination and a bit of ingenuity, you can overcome any obstacle and achieve what others might deem impossible. The grain of persistence might be small, but its power is immeasurable. Nurture it, trust in it, and watch as it transforms your life in ways you never thought possible.